Hi Stinkies, today I'm going to show you how I did this romantic goth makeup look. I feel like it's perfect for the fall, but let's go ahead and just get into it. So we start off as a little huevito, and today I am going to be icing my face. I kind of also use this as a gua sha, so in my head I am sculpting my face as we speak. And I do like to do a little bit, or actually a lot, on my lips just because I feel it makes them nice and juicy and plump. And if you are going to be icing your face, just make sure you're not keeping it in one area for too long. Anyways, we did go to Ulta. I got my little birthday gift. It was this Lancome Genifique face serum. It's supposed to make me like a level 10 wizard or give me really great skin. I don't know, one of the two, but I'm fine with both. So we go ahead and lather that all over our skin. It felt honestly really nice though. I'm not complaining. Cheers! And then I did get some Ole Henriksen. It's the Pout Preserve Peptide Lip Treatment in Creme Brulee, I believe. It smells so good. I really want to eat it, but I won't. And we're going to go ahead and follow that with a little bit of moisturizer. I am running out of this, so I may try something new. I may just restock. I'm not sure. But regardless of what moisturizer I use, I will always bring it down my neck and onto my hands. And I'll go ahead and use this Egyptian magic under my eyes and any places where I plan to add concealer later down the road, just to help achieve a more flawless finish. Scott Barnes suggests you do this, but with Aquaphor. I didn't have Aquaphor, so obviously just use what you got. I don't know what possessed me to do my brows first this day, but I got a little soap crazy, got it on my lid where it shouldn't have, and I really played myself. But that just goes to show we can't all be perfect. And so went ahead with the concealer as primer, a little bit of the Anastasia Beverly Hills on the brow and on the inner corner. Ideally, you would be blending this in with your ring finger. Do as I say, not as I do. And I thought it would be really cool to show you different options that you could use if you're trying to recreate this look. But honestly, I should have just kept to my Morphe Cherry Coke palette. I feel like I love that formula the best. But what's done is done. We're going to go ahead and stamp that right in on the outer third of our eyes. And I get very handsy. I love to use my fingers to just fix any mistakes I may have made if I maybe dragged it a little too far down or too high up. And I'm essentially just using the leftover product that I may have on my finger. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. And you'll see me doing this a lot where I'm looking off to a further mirror just to check my makeup. A lot of times it looks really cute up close, but once you look at it further away, it's like all kinds of wonky. And right here, I'm really trying to emphasize how I'm not breaking any color past the iris of my eyes. And now our main focus is going to be blending that out with another fluffy brush just to kind of create a more smoky effect, and so it's not as much of a harsh line. And you can pick up a little bit of setting powder with your fluffy brush to give it a little bit more of a diffused look. And we're going to go ahead and get 𝙴𝚎𝚌𝚎 from our Divinity palette and stamp that right in the corner of our eyes as if it was a wing. And with whatever leftover product we have on the brush, we're just going to buff out those edges so it's not as harsh. And again, throughout this entire process, I am checking my makeup in a further mirror just to make sure that my wings aren't going in two different directions. And we're going to get a cutie little fluffy brush and just blend that out to give us a nice smoky, sultry look. And we are going to be adding 𝙴𝚎 to the outer bottom of my brow bone, but look at that, I'm not passing my eyes at all. And this is just going to be adding a little bit more depth to our eyes. Again, do not pass the eye, and we're just going to go ahead and blend out those edges and kind of just smoke it up just a tad bit more. And so again, I have not gone in again, well, I guess up until now, with any more products. So that was all just blending it out and trying to create a more seamless finish. And at this point in time, that's pretty much just what I'm doing. I'm going back and forth with this fluffy brush and the more dense brush to create the exact blend that I want, going in with this even thicker fluffy brush and side-eyeing myself, I guess, just to make sure everything looks as gorgeous as I want it to. And again, you don't have to use the exact same palettes as me, so go ahead and get any nude, or this is kind of like a peachy nude, and tap that right on your lid. And we're going to keep that mainly in the center, kind of going up at an angle along the side of your liner, and then just go back and forth with the brushes, making a nice little seamless blend. And we're going to get our super clean, definitely not messy Sugarpill palette and just stamp the white in the inner corner. We're also going to kind of blend that out. And if you're staring at me intensely, as you should be, you'll notice that I'm following my bone structure and kind of creating my nose contour before we even get to my nose contour. And it just ends up giving us a very snatched look in the eyes that I love. And here she is, our Cherry Coke palette. I honestly should have just started off with her. I don't know why I wanted to be so creative, because look, she has like all the same colors and maybe even more. Plus the formula is great. Anyways, we are going to be stamping in with a small dense brush this dark purple to kind of elevate this wing we already got going on. And with a different brush, we're going to go ahead and tap that out. Make sure we don't have this harsh line. As you can see, I love going back and forth with my makeup just to make sure everything's nice and blended. And before I even do my face makeup, I like to do my under eyes, just because I like to do the less is more approach, where if I really don't need to be putting concealer all up in there, I'm not going going to. I'm going to blow out my under eyes. And then if I end up getting too crazy, I can always fix it with the concealer. So it's a win-win situation. And I love adding white to my waterline because it gives this very doll-like effect. It makes me feel very dreamy and just really cute. I mean, right now it's a little intense because I'm doing this cupping technique to eliminate the shadows on my face and figure out where I need to revisit and edit. From there, we're going to make an even tinier itty-bitty little wing with the black. And this is just going to really add the intensity in our eye look. And speaking of intensity, let's talk about the Charlotte Tilbury Exaggerize Volume Mascara. For starters, I'm a firm believer that mascara should not be expensive. The full size bottle is 30 bucks. I only got the travel size and a setting spray. Also, the setting spray, I got the mini version because Charlotte Tilbury is a pretty penny. But when I saw these chunky lashes on the packaging, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to try. And so these are my lashes before, and I have this whole routine that I do every single time, and normally it works perfectly for me. So I'll put a little bit of mascara at the base of my lashes on both of my eyes, and then after I let that first layer dry, I'll go ahead one more time and do the tippy tops of my lashes. And listen, each time I do this, I go in. I do not hold back. I like thick, chunky lashes. I even fanned myself in between coats to make sure they were nice and dry, but they were just not holding. My lashes were falling. I really don't want to have to curl them a million times to make them stay. And I mean, you tell me, does this look chunky-licious? It doesn't, babe. It doesn't. Now, if you do want something chunky-licious, I would say the Super Lash Mascara by Apple. I don't know. I've seen my mom using this ever since I was a kid, like ever since before I was even doing makeup. She's always used it. It's amazing. Anyways, I put a little bit of what looks like strawberry yogurt on her face as primer. It's the Poreless Putty primer. I don't know what it's called, but it's that. Our Kosas foundation. And now listen, I know this is going to sound and look crazy, but rub it in. Rub your foundation in like it's moisturizer. I swear it just feels and looks so much nicer. It looks so much more like skin. And so I remember back in the day, I don't know which variant of the NARS foundation it was, but one of them, the Sephora girlies would tell you to just apply it with your fingers and that it would be so much nicer. And so I thought, you know what? Why not just do that with everything? And so I've done this recently and I love how it looks throughout the day. It just looks so soft and velvety, and it really does look like skin but elevated. Anyways, we're gonna move on to the contour, and I try to make sure that it does not go past these little lines on my face. I keep it pretty much on the outside. And just like my eyes, I like to go up and out. And I've said this before, I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to my nose contour. I'm experimenting every time. Something I do know is I like to follow that contour that we created earlier with the white in the eyes. And that's a perfect example of how we can create these shadows in our face, not by adding darkness, but by adding light. Also, really quick, I promise I will get better at showing you guys all the brushes I am using. But for now, let's get back to the video. So I'm gonna get a thicker, dense brush and buff out my contour on my face. And I do like to start on my forehead just because there's nothing on the brush right now, so it will kind of suck up a little bit of that product. You could always work it into the side of your hand like we do with the foundation or with the blush, but it's just not my style. Anyways, we're gonna do our concealer now, and I like to let this sit for a pretty long time and kind of just let it warm up with your skin. That's a little tip that I learned from Jackie Aina. Well, not personally, I saw her video on YouTube too. And so for me, I really like to do kind of like a little triangle under my eyes when I'm doing my concealer. And then we'll let that sit and start prepping our face for pretty much the most important part, which is the blush. And so we're gonna spray our beauty blender with a little bit of that Charlotte Tilbury to lock in that beauty, or whatever the heck it does. And then we'll warm up the product on the back of our hands so that when we apply it to our face, it just melts in. And you know what? Recently, I've really been liking to put a little bit of blush at the bottom of my chin. I don't know what it does, but I feel really cute. And let me just say, I've been known to get carried away with my makeup and put on a little bit too much blush, so I've learned to put the excess on my hands, because if not, I end up looking like a clown, and not in a good way. If I was going for clown, like absolutely, but sometimes I'm going for ethereal angel baby, and bright red cheeks are just not going to do it. But speaking of clowns, spooky season is coming up. I think the next video we should do a spooky or like some kind of Halloween look. You know what I mean? So definitely let me know what you guys want to see. I also love doing couples Halloween things with my man. Like last year, I was Pennywise. This is going to sound kind of mean. And he was the balloon. But the year before, I was Lydia and he was Beetlejuice. And that's so much fun. So definitely let me know if you guys want to see that. Anyways, we're going to go ahead in with our damp beauty blender. Again, this has a little bit of the Charlotte Tilbury setting spray in it. And we're just going to stamp that right over the blush, and we're going to marry them together. But notice how I still have the inner quarters of the concealer by my eyes unblended, so they're still kind of, we'll say, damp and sitting. And then we're going to go back in with our blush brush. Oh my gosh, that's taking me like a million takes. But we're gonna go back in with the brush and with the sponge back and forth, just like we did with the eyes, to make sure everything is nice and seamless. And yes, I do use like 5 different blushes. I feel like I just can't find the perfect one. There is this Patrick Ta duo blush thingy that looks kind of cool. I kind of want to try that. Maybe the Road one too. But anyways, we're just going to tap that right in, babe. And once again, Ulta coming in clutch. This is one of those trips where I needed a lot of my necessities, like this Morphe setting powder. And this is one of the most important things you can do when you're setting your under eyes. Do not look down. Do not let your eyes start to crease and then set them. What are you doing, crazy? You're just setting yourself up to fail. What you need to be doing is getting your powder puff, work that powder into it. Work it in the back of your hand just so that it's not clumping into your eyes. Look up when you're blending your concealer and then go ahead and set your eyes with the powder puff. I know it feels like I'm yelling at you, but I'm telling you this because I love you. But no, for real, this has absolutely been a game changer for me. And so we're only going to be setting our face wherever there isn't any blush or contour, because again, we've already set our blush with blush, and now I'm going to be setting my contour with more contour. I just feel like setting the face with all of the corresponding powder versions of the liquid version just helps to kind of avoid the cake face issues you may be having. And by doing this, you end up with a result that looks very high impact, but ends up feeling very light on the face. And so I'm going to be using a little bit of this pink setting powder from Morphe to help highlight the center of my face. And there was definitely a time where I didn't bake my under eyes, but I don't know, recently I've really been enjoying it. And so again, we're back with the Charlotte Tilbury mascara. Do I love it? No. Will I use it? Sure. But mainly because I get a little anxious returning things. So what I do love is this Makeup Revolution highlight. I won't lie, for the longest time, I really didn't look at them for anything because they just weren't wowing me, but I've honestly been liking them lately. And so now's the time where I just drench my face. Like seriously, I absolutely drench my face with setting spray. And this is any setting spray I've ever used. That's how I like to do it, baby. If it doesn't look like my makeup could potentially be ruined, then I haven't put enough setting spray on. Also, I hate to be this person, but Charlotte Tilbury, what is going on with this mascara? I was expecting a thick, chunky lash, and these are just not giving. And I really feel like I gave them their best shot. I didn't do anything different than I normally would. And this is why, once again, I firmly believe you should not have to spend $30 on a mascara. Sometimes, like today, they are just not worth it. I'm glad that I ended up just getting the travel size one anyways. And so last but not least, we're going to end up doing the lips. I like to do lips last just because I do like to snack and eat throughout the entire makeup process. And although I love the Maybelline lifter liners, I will say they are very soft, and I have noticed that they've been breaking on me a little bit more than I'd like. Well, I'd actually like them to never break, but you guys get what I mean. And so we're going to be using this NYX pencil to blend out the edges of the Maybelline lifter liner. And then in the center of our lips, we're going to be using this beautiful, oh my gosh, absolutely beautiful lipstick. It is from Flower Nose. My best friend Eddie got it for me for my birthday. And then again, just like the eyes, I like to go back and forth with my products and make sure that everything has this seamless blend. And so recently I've been experimenting with different lip combos, and what I really like doing now is putting a darker lip gloss on the outside and a light pinky lip gloss on the center. This ends up giving your lips a little bit more dimension and giving you that very juicy look. And then we do our hair and bam, we're done. We're a beautiful little romantic goth girly girl, or really whatever you want to be. I don't care, but that's it. That's how you do the makeup. I hope this was helpful. It wasn't really a tutorial, just kind of like how I do my makeup. But yeah, hopefully this helps. Let a girl know what spooky dooky ooky things we should do next. But for now, hasta la pasta, babes. I will talk to you later. Okay, love you, bye.